What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my crypto journey. My name is Rodney, and today we're going to be reacting to an AMA that was conducted well before the Las Vegas event by the Saitama team. Now, this is back when Steve at Rocket Crypto was on the team, and this is actually from his YouTube page. We all know that Steve is no longer with the team, but I wanted to make this video not to take a dump on Saitama holders, rather to congratulate them because they are now open to being listed on bigger exchanges. Now, Russ made this tweet earlier today, and you can go ahead and read that tweet, pretty much reaching out to CZ from Binance, right? Apparently, he replied to a tweet, and I'll put that tweet up there, where he was tagged by some Saitama devs, right? So everybody's getting hyped for Binance. Now, if you guys didn't know, back in the day, Russ wasn't really too keen on getting on these big exchanges, and he'll explain why in this video, but I think that it's a good thing that we're flipping our attitude toward these big exchanges, because regardless of whether or not you think Saitamask is going to be revolutionary, big exchanges will help Saitama in the long run. But without further ado, let's watch this video and see exactly how we flipped since then.
Still to come. We've made some pretty amazing connections as far as where we're headed, with the company and the coin. I have a call here in a few minutes with, a lot of these other universities that we're going to integrate some esports stuff with and some collaborations that we're doing. So we're really going to blow this whole thing up, on a different level. Thank you. That we're going to do a lot of different stuff with, which is really amazing. You guys are going to be, pretty excited about it, I think, too, once we can kind of spell everything out for you and put everything on the table. We'll put some press releases out for you guys. I know a lot of
I think that was the esports thing, right? The Blaze Fire game thing, but it never really panned out. But don't you guys miss the days of the pump, right? The parabolic rise of Saitama? Well, a lot of the stuff, most of it did not come true, but let's continue the video.
people were excited about, exchanges. Everybody wants to do, Binance. Everybody wants to do, all these different, major exchanges. But I just want to kind of let you guys know. I mean, yeah, they're there, and they're coming. But it's not really the focus point of where we're at right now. That was never really the end game. That was never really the plan for where we wanted to take this token, where we wanted to move this project to. As you guys know, I mean, I've been in crypto for a while, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have too. It's not necessary, right? Tell me one project that absolutely went crazy when they got listed on Coinbase, or
So I think that we all know that Shiba Inu actually went crazy when they got some exchange listings. Now, I know the last parabolic run was because Shiba had a tweet from, well, people thought it was a tweet from Elon Musk, but it did help Shiba Inu, and it did help a lot of tokens. So they do get listed and go crazy because of exchanges.
Crypto.com or Binance, and then just sustained it. They went on these projects, they went on these platforms, they had a little bit of pump, and then they kind of die out. That's, by the time you get to a point like that, already listed on several other exchanges. So the capability of doing that is easy. But that doesn't sustain growth. It doesn't sustain longevity. It doesn't sustain, the future of the company. It doesn't do anything. It just makes it a little bit easier for you to purchase on, which is great. And I'm all about that. So, the exchanges are coming. I mean, we have, different negotiations that we're talking with, and we're doing the legal bits. Like I talked about before, when you deal with tier 1 exchanges, you got to go through and make sure that your white paper is completely, transparent. You got to make sure that your website is set up a certain way. You have to make sure that all your, your legal team reviews all the documents, and you kind of coordinate that way. So it's a little bit of a process, right? It's not like, an easy listing on a tier 2 exchange where you just add liquidity, you do some marketing, and then you launch it. It's a much more difficult process. So it takes a little bit of time. So I just want you guys to be patient. And when I say that I'm not really proactively about it, we're still going to do it, right? We're still going to list on tier 1 exchanges. I'm not saying that at all. I just want to give you guys
So Russ is pretty much saying, hey, for tier 1 exchanges, it's not easy just to get listed. And it really isn't, right? These smaller exchanges will list anyone with volume because they need that to survive. But the Binances, the Coinbases, the KuCoins, the Crypto.coms don't really need anybody. They just don't, right? It's like, hey, what do you have for us? And a lot of times you have to pay these exchanges a ton of money. So right here, Russ is pretty much saying that this is not a focus point for Saitama. But now fast forward to today, it seems like it's everything, right? This is what everyone wants. This is what everyone's talking about. I mean, like I said before, Russ is tweeting at CZ to say, hey, come to our booth in Dubai to check us out and see what we have to offer. So it's crazy how, times have changed. But hey, everyone changes over time. I do understand that.
Bigger perspective of what we're trying to do. And the bigger picture is not about listing on all these different platforms. Like, we're creating our own platform. Like, you're going to be able to buy Saitama on the Saita wallet. You're going to be able to house your tokens on there. If you're a new investor and you're looking to get into Saitama, you can do it right on our wallet. You know what I mean? Like, we're creating our own ecosystem. So, whatever we do is going to be evolved around, blowing up our own platform, creating our own ecosystem that's fully functional, and providing all the proper tools and, creating all these different dApps and different areas of the platform. Like, the tech that we have and the things that we're implementing into this program is much more advanced than what really anybody is doing, for one. And for two, we don't need to share that in, our volume with other platforms. We're going to have our own.
So he's saying that he doesn't want to share the volume for Saitama, right, with other exchanges. But here's the thing. You cannot buy Saitama in the Saitamask app, right? Not right now. You have to transfer it there. So keep that in mind. All your Saitama, as of right now, you need to either swap it for, Saitamask is not really working that well, but you can swap a little bit of ETH for Saitama, right? But you can't use a debit card. You have to transfer it there. But they're saying they don't want to take that volume away from Saitamask, which makes sense, right? But right now, I think the main concern is getting Saitama in the hands of as many people as possible. And I think they share that same sentiment as we fast forward to today. Let's continue.
But again, like I said, I understand people are more comfortable with, trading on other, centralized exchanges.
Facts,
and we'll make that available because we want people to feel comfortable. So we'll make that happen. But I just want to try to stress and emphasize to you guys that was never the end game from where we're at. Like, most tokens that come out, they'll start listing on different platforms. They'll create whatever they're trying to create. And then the end game is like, oh, we're going to get listed on Binance. And then boom, we're there. Now what? And you become irrelevant. In this business, in this industry, when you become irrelevant, your price drops. Your importance level drops. Nobody cares.
That's true, and it seems like Saitama has been on a downtrend from November. It's clear, right? Look at the chart; it's super clear. Now, have they become irrelevant? No, not at all, right? Of course, everyone's talking about Saitama. I'm still making videos on Saitama. Me and Saitama have a long history. I made tons of videos where I support it. You can just go back in my history where I'm blindly supporting Saitama. But as time goes on, you start to learn when people are not delivering and those sorts of things. So people can change. That's why I'm giving the team the benefit of the doubt here, because obviously their perception towards large exchanges change, right? Now watch this clip when he had an AMA from Scott Herman.
We're so big and such a powerful movement in this space that anybody that thinks that they don't know who Saitama is, they 100% do. And I promise you that every single one of them have at least some Saitama coins in their portfolio. I promise you.
Oh yeah.
But we've applied and put out stuff for everybody. We've been in communication with every single listing exchange under the sun. And we get free listings all the time because the little guys that know better, they don't care. They don't want listing fees. They don't want any of that. They just want a piece of the pie. They're like, you know what? Hey, we'll list you guys for free. Give us a couple coins for marketing. Say we're going to list your coin on our platform on your social medias, and we're good. We don't care. I mean, if it was up to me, I would just list on all of them today and get it over with. And then launch our own platform and then take all their business.
Yes, exactly.
It's like, why would you say that unless you were kind of feeling high and mighty that we don't need these exchanges? We're going to get on these exchanges, steal their customers, yada, yada, yada. But guys, Saitama is an established token. With the exception of their tokenomics, why wouldn't any of these big exchanges list them? Well, I think a big reason is because of pride. We have Saitama Guru out here talking crap about these exchanges, like all high and mighty, and now we're just vulnerable, right? The price of Saitama is in the gutter. Yes, it's close to $1 billion market cap, but it's way down from all-time highs. So I feel like right now we're kind of desperate. So you have to think about what's going on here, right?
Cares anymore. They're all about that next big pump. They're all about that next 10x, 100x, all this stuff.
Facts.
That is not what we're about, and it never has been. And you guys that have been here since the beginning will understand that that's not our vision, and it's never been our focus. Like, we have a very strategic business plan that we're trying to stick to, that we can create something that's never been done before. So we can create this fully involved ecosystem, this fully integrated token that branches out into every single aspect of cryptocurrency and business and, everything, education, marketing, NFTs, all this stuff, gaming, that's going to be a huge part of what we do. Entertainment, all this stuff we're tying into, creating this massive thing that nobody's ever done before. It all ties back into Saitama. All of it. And that's how we grow, not just as a coin, but as an entire company. And everybody on this call, like I told you guys, you are part of the Saitama LLC. You are a shareholder in this company. And people ask, well, how does it become, how does
That's interesting, right? Because I honestly think that if you're trying to become a DEX, right, it's a decentralized exchange, well, then you got to be a master of one and not a jack of all trades, in my opinion, because the competition's hot out here. I mean, now we have SafePal, right? They could do cross-chain functionality right from the comfort of your own phone. You can connect to any other decentralized exchange, right? So I know Saitamask is a DEX, right? It's a place where you could swap tokens, but keep in mind, they're still running on the Ethereum blockchain. You still have to pay gas fees and those sorts of things. I mean, you're still kind of a slave to the Uniswap blockchain gas fees. So, I mean, the only thing you can do is kind of decrease the actual swapping fees, which, I mean, any decentralized exchange can do that to keep up with their competitors, right? Uniswap could do that if they wanted to. So competition's fierce. Focus on being the best exchange you can, in my opinion, instead of trying to throw everything in here. Because the fact is, yeah, Saitamaker is a thing, but you could just connect your wallet to OpenSea. It's like, why wouldn't I just do that? Like Saita Education, like in Coinbase, they pay you free cryptocurrency to learn about things. So what they're trying to do has been done before. But Saitama Guru is an excellent speaker right here. Can really rile up a community of people to hoorah. And this is what we saw happen, right? It's happened to me, happened to a lot of people. But now we're at the time of deliverance, right? We need to deliver. And so far that hasn't been the case. Let's continue.
Does it become lucrative for us as holders now that we're incorporated? And that you're trying to grow a business, but how does that help us as investors? Like, well, when Nike expands to China and they build a 600,000 square foot warehouse overseas to create and manufacture product, and say, how does that help me as a stockholder or a shareholder? You do that because it expands the business. As we expand our business, and you being shareholders and stakeholders in Saitama, you benefit, right? Everybody benefits from every move that we make. There's nothing that we don't do that doesn't benefit every single person on this call, in this room, or that holds even one single token, because everything is reflected back to the product. Everything is reflected back to the Saitama brand. That's what it's all about, right? We're looking out for the longevity, and we're trying to secure your investment. Nobody is doing this for ourselves. We're not doing it for personal gain. We have always been about the community and about, increasing our position to better sustain a long-term, productive, and successful token. How are we going to be a top 5 token if we don't change our dynamic? If we don't take a road that was never traveled? If we don't do something that nobody else has done before? We're not creating and mimicking a business plan from a cryptocurrency that has already been done 17 times and failed. How do you change that path? How do you create something very unique to this space? You have to do things, and you have to take risk, and you have to implement a different game plan that has never been done before. And that's what we're doing. If we wanted to do A, B, and C, and D just like that, like everybody else did, then that's what we would do. But where would we be in 6 months? We would be with all these other tokens that have tried that same approach in the past, and now
What I think is very interesting is that SafeMoon has pretty much done this exact same thing, and SafeMoon came out, before Saitama. But you have to think about SafeMoon; they weren't trying to do the Sata Maker and the Sata Education and those sorts of things. But if you are new to DeFi and you made a bunch of money on Saitama and you listen to this, you would think that Saitama is one of a kind, not knowing how big the world of DeFi is. I've been in crypto for a while, but not like this, not the way I am today. And so I get to see all the wonders of DeFi and how many other products there are that are good, that are just superior right now. So, but if you're new, you would listen to this and not really know that a lot of it is BS in my opinion. But let's continue.
Become irrelevant, and I'm not like putting anybody out one specific token. I've just been around long enough to know that this is how this stuff happens. And that's not where I'm trying to put us. Like, I don't want that to be us. Like, I don't want you guys to be in that. I mean, you guys have all held long enough to this point, and you see the potential, right? So where does that potential lie? That potential lies in us doing great things in the future and not becoming, your atypical cryptocurrency in the meme industry or in the meme category that rides the hype train to a certain point and then just starts to slowly digress. Because if you're just a traditional cryptocurrency and you get listed on 2 or 3 tier 1 exchanges, where are you going to go from there? Where is the motivation and the hype going to come from after that? If we, for example, and this is just an example, if we listed on Binance next week, then what would you guys want? What could we do from there? How would we sustain growth? Like Binance is like the big platform, right? Everybody gets pumped about it. If you're, we list on Binance next week, and then what? I mean, you win Binance now. Okay, now that that's done, where are we going to go from there? How do you sustain that growth? How do you stay relevant? How do you, move on and move forward and grow, as a token, a community, and a company? How do we increase our holders when if we've already plateaued? That's what we're trying to do. It's not about exchanges. It's never been about exchanges. We're creating our own platform. We're creating these partnerships and these collaborations with people so that we can, sustain the longevity of the company. Like, we want to be around long term. We want to be at the next cutting edge of technology. I mean, the stuff that we're put together and the technology that Gabe's putting on is incredible. I mean, you guys are in such an amazing position right now to really benefit as, holders of an amazing company on the ground level. If you guys can see some of the stuff Gabe's putting together, it is absolutely mind blowing. And I've put his stuff compared to other people that have been in this industry for a long time, and it's like night and day. Like the tech that we're developing, these NFTs, this other, VR, AR stuff that you guys are looking at that we did for the NFTs, it's crazy. It's next level. I mean, we got DraftKings and Top Fleer and stuff putting out these NFTs with these professional athletes, and they're garbage. Compared to what we're doing, they're garbage. So what do you think is going to happen when we start rolling out these NFTs? We start rolling out this tech that we're putting out, and it just blows the competition out of the water. What do you guys think that's going to do for us as a company? It's going to absolutely blow the socks off. That's where we're at. We want to take this thing to an unforeseen level. So
now I'm going to end the AMA right there. But what Russ is trying to say is that the end goal is not exchanges, right? And almost there's a disdain for getting on exchanges because he's seen what happened to some projects that got on exchanges. Now, here's the thing. Exchanges are no doubt going to help Saitama, without a doubt. That is the thing that's going to throw this thing in the stratosphere if it can get there again. Now, to sustain that is going to be a good SataMask. There's always going to be huge pump and dump because of exchanges, right? But SataMask is going to sustain that. Now, personally, I still stick to my belief that SataMask is not revolutionary. Now, of course, like I said, I've been around the DeFi space for a while now, and there's other people that are doing something similar that it's just as good. It's like, why would I want to switch over from this to this unless I'm a really crazy Saitama loyalist? Now, but that's what I think it's version 1.11 right now, whatever, say version 1.0 in its current form. But if it can be better down the road, if it can improve, well, then who knows? But anything is possible. There could be a project that pops up next week that is just as good as SataMask, right? They're doing the same thing, and they're better than SataMask in 5 years. We just don't know. But if you look at all that evidence as a objective investor and you think SataMask is going to be better than everyone just because you believe that without any evidence, well, then do your thing, invest in those sorts of things. But I wanted to make this video for you guys just to show how much we've really flipped on getting getting on exchanges. Because at this point in time, personally, I feel this is one of the only things that's going to help Saitama come back. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.